What does the name Cheryl mean to you? Does it make you think of Girls Aloud, X Factor, or that time when Cheryl swan dives onto the voice stage? Well, good. Today we're heading to Pop 101 class and learning about Cheryl, also known in the UK as the nation's sweetheart.
First, our morning announcements. Special shout out to our Patreon producers, Emily, George, Lily, Louie, and Juliet. And if you want to choose episode topics and get access to exclusive bonus episodes, you can also become a producer at Patreon, at patreon.com/cctvpops. We do have a free tier as well. So yeah, come hang out with us.
Woo woo. Wasn't this a request from one of our CCTV producers?
It was a request. We have some Girls Aloud fans within our little Patreon crew. So yes, lots more Girls Aloud to come too.
Oh my gosh, that's right. We have just kind of scratched the tip of the iceberg? That's not scratched. But the point is, we've just started at the GA, tour in terms of their album. We are finally talking about the solo.
Yes, we do have the episode. We do have the episode where we did do a little pop off between all 5 of them and their first solo singles. So we have talked about Fight for This Love before, so definitely check that out. But yes, we're finally actually talking about her solo career.
Here we are. Okay, I'm excited because I feel like as many Americans rather, I feel like my experience with her has come in little moments, almost like fever dreams, if you will, or is it's like, wait, hang on, why do I recognize this face? Why do I recognize the dimples, the eyes, the hair, why do I know this song? So yeah, I feel like I've grown to like her and get to know her in my own way. I did stumble upon Call My Name years ago. And I think certain songs like in K-pop had influences of Girls Aloud. So when we kind of listened and started getting into Girls Aloud, well, for me, when I got into them because of you, I was like, this sounds like a K-pop song. You're like, no, the K-pop song sounds like Girls Aloud. So it was really fun to kind of get into them and then find out who she was finally. And yeah, also she gave me a shout out at that concert.
Yeah.
So, she has a whole special place in my heart. The little dimpled darling won me over. Not just with the shout out, but just in general.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, I am a huge fan of Girls Aloud, so I did support her in her solo career. I watched X Factor UK.
Oh, shoot.
Actually went to one of the tapings of X Factor US as well when she was here. So yeah, I've been supportive. I definitely prefer them as a group. But yeah, I've been as supportive as I can as a fan.
That is so valid.
Yeah.
Some of our parts. All right, so your 2 professors know Cheryl. And if you do, or you need a little refresher, let's get it started. Class is now in session.
So, of course, as we said, we all know Cheryl as a member of Girls Aloud, one of the biggest British girl groups of all time. But she has had a very successful solo career in her own right. So even in the early days of the group in the early 2000s, Cheryl was a tabloid darling. And some of that was because of some controversies that she had kind of near the beginning.
Damn.
But it was actually largely helped by her relationship and marriage with footballer Ashley Cole.
That's right. Oh, to be a wag in the early 2000s.
That's right.
And for those who don't know wags are, it's wife and girlfriends of athletes. And it was kind of a derogatory term, I think. I think it still is, but here in America, they made a show about it. So I don't know how bad it is here. But yeah, her popularity rose significantly in 2008 for 2 main reasons. As we mentioned, because she was a wag and married to Ashley Cole, the footballer. Unfortunately, there's a lot of attention on their relationship. And first, it was revealed that Ashley cheated on Cheryl, and this garnered a lot of public support for her as she navigated the media scrutiny. And then secondly, she joined the coveted judging panel for the reality competition series X Factor, along with Simon Cowell, Danny Minogue, and former Girls Aloud manager Louis Walsh. And the show, thankfully, was her jump off point, I would say, a positive attention for her. Yeah. And it was one of the most watched shows in the country at the time. So it helped her prove herself to be an extremely competent judge. And she won 2 seasons with Alexander Burke and Joe McElderly. So that's awesome. I can't lie and say I actually know who Joe is, but I do know Alexander Burke. I remember her whole situation was kind of cool. I was like, oh, snap. Who's this lady?
And when she sang Listen with Beyonce.
Yes. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? It's
Again?
amazing. Literally. Can't
Yes.
do that now.
X Factor was amazing at the time because literally if you got a performance opportunity on X Factor, you were like, it was almost guaranteed that it would be a hit, that it would do well in the charts because just that many people watched that show.
TV was powerful back in the day.
It really was.
Gosh.
Yeah. So Cheryl was very lucky for sure. And Girls Aloud was lucky too. Girls Aloud definitely profited off of Cheryl being on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Cheryl, of course, she does have the X Factor. I think even from the very, very beginning of Girls Aloud, she had a very striking look. She's a good performer, very natural performer. And she has a recognizable voice. I think people have often criticized her for her voice, saying that, you know, she's not like the best singer, so why is she allowed to judge other singers?
She's a star.
The X Factor was always about more than just the voice. It's like the whole package, which she definitely has. And even from the very beginning, like you could just tell why people loved her. Like she had, I mean, she does have kind of the perfect rags to riches type of story because she comes from kind of a more like not as like nice part of the UK. And she's just always been quite blunt and real. Like even from the beginning of Girls Aloud, like there's so many funny interview moments where she's like ranting about Nicole and the Pussycat Dolls, or just all of those iconic moments in the Girls Aloud docs where she's just complaining or like hungover or like whatever. So yeah, she was perfect on the X Factor. And plus she obviously went through a reality show very similar to that. So then I think that naturally helped her gain respect as well. But she always gave really good critique. She guided her acts really well. She was respectful of her other judges. She pushed back when she needed to and defended herself when she needed to. So yeah, I thought she was awesome at it.
Yeah, I think she, from what I saw from some of the clips and such, she is a natural person. I think that is what's really important. Like you mentioned, because she did have her Geordie upbringing and kind of, I think I watched an interview and she mentioned that she was unable to afford her ballet education and got a scholarship of some sort from a sponsor of some sort. And I was thinking to myself, okay, you know, she really gets it. It's not like she was just like, I'm really pretty and I made it. No, don't get me wrong. Her looks definitely played a part. But even when she won Pop Star, she was like, yeah, come on. It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm here. It was like, yeah. Like she was like one of the guys at a freaking, you know, a football match, if you will. They just scored a goal or something. So I think she's always maintained her personality as someone that was approachable. And even within the group, when you showed me, I was like, oh my God, who's that one? I think you had showed me like a couple tours. Even if her voice wasn't like always there, I was like, no, I'm still looking at her because she's going to give you 110%.
Hell yeah.
So with that being said, especially with her experiences from the Pop Stars rivals all the way up until Girls Aloud's like hiatus, she probably was the most, I think, in my opinion, well-suited to do it. I mean, it's almost like perfect, the kismet, if you will, that she was able to do this and give someone else an opportunity that she had. So it just makes sense, you know, kind of bringing in the next round of superstars. She didn't put a group together. It would have been cool if she had managed to do that. But like,
I don't know if she ever got groups as a category, actually. Someone will have to remind us because, she did come back later on. But yeah. So yes, moving forward with Cheryl's rise in popularity, as I mentioned earlier, Girls Aloud reaped the benefits as well. They were getting bigger and bigger, and they had more and more opportunities. And one of those opportunities was a brand new ITV2 docuseries called The Passions of Girls Aloud, which is a show in which each member, except Nadine, who attempted, I guess, one taping, and she was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. But the rest of them would go on to explore one of their individual passions outside of singing, basically. And Cheryl chose street dance as her passion, and this led to her not only dancing in the music video, but also her first solo vocal appearance on a song as a feature on will.i.am single Heartbreaker, which was released in May 2008 and hit number 4 in the UK charts.
Let's break it down. 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 Let's break it. Let's break it. Let's break it down.
Heartbreaker is an interesting one. It's such a strange feeling to watch will.i.am in retrospect. The hindsight of his, like, I guess, stardom at the time was insane. Like, I'm not saying he was untalented, but like obviously we all knew him for Black Eyed Peas, and he went to go work with like 2NE1 and Nicki Minaj and obviously Cheryl. So for her to get that was huge. I'm like, wow. I mean, I look back on it, and all I think is fedora, big glasses, and ill-fitting suits, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how in the world did this guy manage to like top the charts? Doesn't make him untalented, his style. I'm just being silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, when I heard it, I was like, she's just a feature, what? But it sounded good. It's a nice way to introduce people who were fans of will.i.am at the time to her voice, even if it is a little bit generic in terms of not really showing people like, oh yeah, this is Cheryl, but it's still a nice way to have a vocal that is not Fergie on a track that doesn't sound like a Black Eyed Peas song, and also gives her an opportunity to show people that she can dance outside of the, the heels and the just image of Girls Aloud.
Yes.
I mean, she was always the best dancer in the group. You could totally see that.
Yeah.
So being able to see her do those moves that got really popular because of the Step Up movies. I hate to kind of give the Step Up movies like that kind of credit, but for a lot of people who did not understand like hip hop dance outside of Dina, those Dina dance tapes, the girl with the blue suit, the the hip hopper, people didn't know. So with Step Up, it was like, oh shoot, this is really cool. Oh my gosh. So she definitely did those moves. And it's a good time because the dance films were really popular, and it's a good thing for her optics. But yeah, I do wonder like how that will.i.am thing happened. Good for her, but I'm just like, holy crap, will.i.am.
Yeah. I did read some interviews and stuff, and I think it was just the record label kind of just thinking of the opportunity, because I guess Heartbreaker was on his album, and there was just like a miscellaneous like random vocalist that sang this part, and so I think they were just able to kind of piece the opportunity together. I did actually rewatch the Passions of Girls Aloud episode because I didn't really remember it. That wasn't one of my faves in terms of the Girls Aloud docs.
Right.
But it was fun. So basically she trains both in London, and she actually goes to Millennium in LA.
Oh,
She trains there. And I couldn't tell because she's like struggling quite a lot. And then like you have clips of like Kimberly and them being like, oh yeah, like we don't hit that hard like in the Girls Aloud dancer tunes, like they're super easy. So this is like a very big challenge. But I feel like I don't know, it felt like they were just trying to make it look like it was more of a challenge than it actually was for her. Because if you watch the actual choreo, like it's not that hard. And
it's not.
Yeah. And so it's like I'm pretty sure she could do this pretty easily. But obviously for the episode, they needed to make it like super dramatic.
Right, just a struggle.
And then like at the, of course at the video, you have kind of the typical kind of members of groups coming out and being like, oh God, I'm so nervous. Like I'm by myself on this, doing this. But she kills it. She kills it in the video. She looks so good. The song, I mean, her part is very, very easy to sing, but I think it was a great way to get her feet wet. And just strategically, it was smart. It was technically part of a Girls Aloud documentary project. And the pressure wasn't that high because they were like, oh, like she was supposed to be in the music video, and she just happens to sing also like half the chorus, like, oh. So, and yeah, he was a reliable partner in that. He was, like you said, he was kind of at the height of his kind of solo fandom at that time too.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a song, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's catchy.
Yes.
Do I listen to it all the time? No, but I don't mind it. I don't skip it when it comes on. It's okay.
That's valid. That's super valid. So after that documentary, Girls Aloud took a hiatus in 2009 following their Out of Control tour and concert at Wembley Stadium with Coldplay and Jay-Z. Ooh, look at that. And Cheryl was full steam ahead with her solo music. And her first single was Fight for This Love, released in September 2009. And the song was extremely successful, hitting #1, not just in the UK, but all over Europe. And it has actually sold a lot more than any Girls Aloud single.
That is horrifying to me that this song has sold more than any other Girls Aloud single. I mean, I'm happy for her that it was that successful, but it makes me just more sad that Girls Aloud wasn't more successful. Do you know what I mean? Because they deserve to be.
yes.
Anyway, yes,
totally.
the single was also nominated for Best British Single at the Brits in 2010, and she did perform it at
Yes.
that ceremony as well. But yes, aside from the fact that it has sold more than any other Girls Aloud single, I do actually love Fight for This Love. We did film an episode where we kind of already did the big deep dive about Fight for This Love and the other first or debut singles of the other members. So go check that out if you want kind of just a deeper discussion on the song itself. But I will say, like, the song is good, but she could have released anything and it would have been huge, honestly. Like, maybe not as big as it did, because it did hit the charts in countries that Girls Aloud never made it in, like in Europe and Australia and stuff. So I think that maybe is more based on the song. But in the UK, her profile was so big and so positive at the time that that definitely helped with how well it did. But yeah, like I said, I do enjoy the song. It has a nice melody. It's super catchy. She sounds really good. And the video is super memorable. Like that red military outfit and all the salutes and all that. Like it's very, very memorable. And I think the whole marketing around it was just smart. Like, again, they did a good job, like, trying to make sure it was done kind of with Girls Aloud's blessing in a way. Like, Cheryl, so like Kimberly, Nicola, and Sarah were all there to support Cheryl in the audience when she performed it for the first time on X Factor. And she killed it. Like, that performance is so good. So yeah, I thought all the marketing around it was really good. And I do like the song. Yeah. What do you think?
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think I really actually liked it. I think even when we did our review, I was like, okay, the song is still not one that I think is all that great still. Like, I don't care for the production of it. I think it's the drums and the bells and all the other stuff like that. Like, the remix on the album definitely
the
makes
dance
the
one?
song, definitely does more for me than the actual, like, there's a certain cheese that comes with it because, like, the hip hop beat. And I'm not gonna hold you, I'm gonna say it now. Pop music, when it tries to do hip hop in the early 2000s, is not good to me because it's like kind of like these white people's take on what they think sounds quote unquote urban. And this kind of had that feel for me. I will say though, I think with all the hoopla around her, the song kind of was like a perfect response to what was happening because, like, you know, she's freshly in love. Well, not freshly, but she's in love with this person. And most people don't just leave after the first cheat. It's kind of like, okay, listen, just don't do it again kind of thing. So we're going to fight for this. We're going to make it work. So I think the sentiment of the song definitely is really interesting because it almost has like this J-Lo effect where it's like, who's she dating now? What song is she going to make about this person now? And I do appreciate this kind of being the, I guess, answer to, and at least the, in my opinion, the answer to all that gossip. The performance of the song were super cohesive. The military styling, I enjoy. Again, I just can't really stand some of the choreography for this, like, the hip hop part. Like, it was just so, like, Dina hip hop basics, which kind of stinks because she really can dance. I just feel like certain moments of the choreography was just really, like, cheesy and very basic, which is fine. You don't have to be, like, sitting there, like, throwing your body every which way. But something about it just felt a little bit, like, awkward. But yeah, I mean, this is coming from somebody who didn't grow up listening to the song, who listened to the song maybe like for the first time.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Yeah.
Not a couple years ago. I want to say maybe like, because I thought it was a Timbaland track because of the drums. It sounded like a Timbaland track at the time. It sounded like Shakira's anything you want, boy, anything you make it yours, anything you really want. Like, to me, just give it to me, I think it is. Shakira and Timbaland.
I'm not.
It had the same kind of military style.
Okay.
I watched the video because the Ray K influence, and at the time I was like really into A. Marie, and they had the same director, Ray K, for the video. So I paid attention to it, but I don't think I liked it as much. But yeah, this in terms of melody and like song structure and everything around the song, it's iconic for its military styling, the lyrical content, the colors featured in the video. The song is not terrible. It stood the test of time in a sense where, like, it's the most recognizable Cheryl song. Like, people can sing it. And even the melody of the chorus was allegedly copied by a Korean producer for another singer song. So the song is not terrible in terms of, like, melody. I just personally think that certain elements are a little bit like, okay, it's cute, but is it the fame that propelled it, or is the song, like, really good?
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence about that. You can come from me, Sheza fans, I understand. But I'm just saying. But yeah,
No,
like I
yeah.
said, it's not a bad song. I was just like, interesting
Yeah.
first attempt outside into like solo Cherylness, you know?
Hmm. What did you think of the Brits performance?
Oh, it was very MJ-esque, which I appreciate. I mean,
Yes.
at this point, if you're gonna do military, he's already kind of
Yeah.
did it. And it's crazy. It's so interesting when you have like these artists create such a like an iconic visual presence. It's like at this point, you know, just lean into it because otherwise it's like, why try to fight? It's already been done.
Yes.
So I think she did a really good job. I enjoy the all white. I would have appreciated a little bit of a what's the word for it? Wait, was this the one where she did it was the Robin S interpolation?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I can't say that I liked what they did with that. That was, again, it's cheesy because instead of actually have it make it sound like it's a really well mixed, almost like a DJ mix transitional kind of thing, it was like, stop. And then play a song. And then play the song and have some random vocalist as your background singer sing some weird like vocalizing and then come back. We gotta fight. I was like, come on.
Yeah,
So
the mashup suddenly disappears. Like, they should have just kept it for the rest of the song. Or, like, I don't know. I agree with you. Like, the way they did the mashup, I thought the idea of it was fun.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't, like, follow through fully.
Why?
And, like, yeah.
That's
Yes,
what I don't
I
like.
agree
It
with
was
that.
good,
I
but-
appreciated the huge army of female and male dancers, though. And
Yes.
that she kind of switched it up, like with the costumes and stuff, like it kind of all switched up and the build was good. But yes, I agree with you with that. But I think it was still a good performance. She performed the crap out of
She's
it.
solid.
Yeah.
She's so solid.
For sure. Yes, so Cheryl's debut solo album, 3 Words, followed quickly and was released in October 2009. And with will.i.am as the executive producer, the album had many dance pop elements, but was more R&B influenced than Girls Aloud's material. And with positive reviews, the boost of her X Factor appearance, and a TV special called Cheryl Cole's Night In, and of course her extreme popularity in the general public, the album was very, very successful commercially. It hit #1 in the UK, and it was certified 3 times platinum as well.
I mean, she definitely deserved it for sure. I don't think, even with all the hoopla around her, like I've been saying, I don't think that's the only reason why she's famous. She's obviously very talented. Otherwise, it would have been like a very negative response. So me saying like, oh yeah, you know, I don't know, it's just like her fame or like that.
No, but it got
Doesn't mean
way
she's-
more attention because of her fame. Yeah.
Right. So that being said, though, she's super talented. I think for me, the album was okay. It's just at a B- for me in terms of like overall sonics, in terms of like the mixing and things like that. But I think it's a stylistic thing from region to region because I was listening to songs from around the same time here in America, and the vocals would be like loud, or like certain drums would be super loud. Like I think it's a mixing thing that was really popular at the time. But yeah, it was not a bad album. I think, like I said, with her being a media darling, it definitely helped. She had some tracks that I did enjoy on there, but I feel like for a first attempt, it was okay. I think what really bothered me was some of the like will.i.am tracks. I can't lie. It's just
It's a lot of them too.
Yeah, and it just kind of takes away from her a little bit for me. I don't know what that is, but like, it's just okay. I don't know how to describe it, but something about it just feels like his hands are a little bit too much in it.
Yeah.
And it didn't allow for the album to breathe or have any sonic versatility, in my opinion. But it doesn't make it bad. It just makes it feel a little bit more restrictive to what I think she can do, because she has a great lower range. She can hit higher notes, and a lot of the songs don't allow for her to actually open up her voice and sing that well unless someone else wrote it. Because then after that, you're just sitting there repeating a bunch of phrases because it's cool to do with EDM. And I'm like, dang it, she can sing.
Yes.
Give her a chance.
Yeah. I mean, will.i.am definitely has a sound and it just comes very, very clearly in this. And yeah, like a writing style, like you said, like the constant repeating of stuff. Like, yeah. I think overall, it's a solid debut album. I do think the singles are very, very clear standouts. And I would probably say that for all her albums, actually. But yeah, I think it's pretty cohesive. And each song is different from the next. Like, even though if you take all the will.i.am songs, you can kind of tell that they're all him, but at least they all kind of are different in their own way, even though they sound like him. So other than the singles, I do enjoy Rain on Me maybe the most, and that one actually does allow her to belt a little bit as well. So I think that helps. And I like the Teo Cruz song Stand Up.
Oh, he was hot,
Also, because
man.
he was so big at the time too, so he was a
Yeah.
good get
He was
there.
hot everywhere.
But yeah, I remember like really liking maybe like half of it of this album. But then when she started performing it, like I remember there being fan cams of I think "Make Me Cry," which is one of the
Oh.
will.i.am songs that I just like
Yes.
didn't think much about. But then she like just performs the crap out of it, you know. So then
Yes.
that always helps
Yes.
too.
She sells
So,
things
yeah,
very well.
I think it was a little safe. I think will.i.am as the partner, she says in interviews that he really helped instill confidence in her to do it solo.
Yeah.
I still think there was. I mean, we can debate a lot about a lot of this because, like, she in her book, like, she blames Nadine for wanting to go solo and that she had no plans to go solo. But
Oh, right.
the record company was planning this, from the get-go, and she put out the album faster than Nadine did, like within a year of Girls
Yeah.
Aloud's, hiatus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just
So many
there's-
layers.
Yeah, a lot of layers there. But yeah, I think the songs fit her voice. It does feel safe, like
Yes.
you said. Like vocally,
Yeah.
there's not much risk
Mhm.
being taken. There's even the songs, there's not much risk being taken. But I think that's
Yeah.
okay for her like solo debut
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be a little safer. Yeah.
That being said, in December 2009, Cheryl released the title track, 3 Words, featuring will.i.am as the album's second single.
It was those 3 words to save my life. It wasn't complicated, wasn't premeditated, it wasn't underrated. Boy, I'm so glad you stayed.
And Cheryl has noted it is her favorite song on the album, and it peaked at number 4 in the UK singles chart. And it also made appearances in charts around Europe and also Australia.
Yeah.
Man, what do you think about this one? This one is a little bit less like dance.
Yes,
will.i.am.
I actually really like this one.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
it's a cool song, and because she was so popular at the time, and the album already did so well, it's a perfect opportunity for her to take a little bit of a risk. This is
Yeah.
definitely the most experimental song on the
Yes.
album, I would
Yeah.
say.
Mhm.
It has a really satisfying build,
Yeah.
and there's elements of the way it's produced that make
Mhm.
it feel kind of cold. It's
Yes.
very electric, obviously,
Mhm.
but then the lyrics are so sweet and warm, and the way they're both singing it, it's like kind of eerie.
Yeah.
There's like a
Almost like a creepy
creepiness
love.
to it. Yeah. But then also like a sincerity to it too. More on
Mhm.
Cheryl's side than will.i.am's side.
I'm crying. He's not
But
good
I
at
think
voting.
that's part of what makes it kind of creepy because it's like,
Yeah.
do they actually feel the same? I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
interesting. And the video is great too. Like we get Cheryl in all these wigs. Like we get blonde
Yes.
Cheryl.
Yes.
I like the contemporary dancers like doing all the flowy stuff. So yeah, I'm a fan of this. I think this is a highlight like across Cheryl's discography.
Oh yeah, this one is a good
Yeah.
one. I think I appreciate the attempt, even with the album. I don't think I said it,
Yeah.
or if I did, I didn't articulate it well enough. But I appreciate the attempt to differentiate herself from the GA catalog. Like I don't hear the group singing. There's like, yeah, could they? I guess. But
yeah.
exactly, it's like, oh, I don't know. They want, that's good. That's very
Yes.
good. But it wasn't so polarizing. Where it was like, girl, get yourself together. So this song is so minimal and requires like an emotive performance in terms of her perform. With will.i.am, like whatever, but with her, she has to sound like she means these words, and she
Yes.
does. She does. Considering the I don't know, there's not a lack of dynamism in this in the vocals, but I can tell that he definitely wrote the song, sang the song, and was like, I want a female vocal on it, and she follows it to the letter to however he wanted it. So I think she did a good job for what she was giving, because like you mentioned, his voice isn't really giving much. He's very like, I'm gonna sing like this, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna sing
It's
like
very
that.
monotone. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to really use his voice well, but he does know how to direct other people how, from like, articulate what he wants from the vocalist. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I believe her when she says like he definitely gave me the confidence. I love the style of the video. It reminded me of Janet's "Rock with You," like how they have this continuous like
Oh,
body
yes.
orgy shot. But the
One of
way
my
they
favorite Janet
Okay.
videos too.
Oh god!
Mm.
But the way they filmed this one was like this kind of like this two-sided POV of like the male and the female, and then it was just her, and it just random shots, but still the same shots continuously. And I was like, what's going on? So there's a lot to look at and not feel overwhelmed by, but also just enough to kind of look and be like, ooh, why is she wearing this wig with the veil? And oh wow, this looks a little eerie. And like you said, it's creepy. It's like this gothic pop electro fantasy, and I kind of like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Now, even though I like this one, I don't know if I like the next single as much, but let's just get into it. The third and final single from the album was Parachute, and it was released in March 2010, and it peaked at number 5 in the UK single charts with the music video featuring Derek Huff. And the song was also nominated for Best British Single at the Brit Awards in 2011. Okay, now, before people come at me for like being like, why don't you like the song? For me, the song, the production's good, the verses are really strong, and the chorus just falls flat where it's like, 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 1, 2, and I don't like that. It's just so like,
Oh, interesting.
If I have my parachute, I got you, I don't need my parachute. It just feels like, for me, that's so cheesy and cringe and a little bit lazy on the lyricist's part. Because, like, I get it. Like, I'm not going to fall. Or if I do fall, I feel like I'm not going to just crash and burn because I have you. I get it. But I was like, oh my God, come on. That's so lazy. The song in every aspect, though, is bold, it's romantic, the sentiments are there, the good parts are there. I enjoyed even the bridge when it repeats itself, I can appreciate, which is why when the chorus repeats itself in that really like just 1, 2, buckle my shoe away, I just like, get me out of here. But everything else was super solid. I like the song. I just, when the chorus comes around, I legit roll my eyes. I'm like, I can't. But that doesn't mean the song is terrible. I just think there's certain points of it, like that chorus, I just think, oh my God.
Oh, that's so interesting. Because actually, I love Parachute, actually. I understand your points, though. Like, yeah, that's an interesting point. I never thought about it that way. But yeah, so actually, maybe I have a soft spot for it also because I actually did learn this on guitar, and I played it. My friend sang it, like, in her show.
I think you sent it to me, like, years ago.
And yeah, so I performed it with her. So I also have, like, a soft spot for it a little bit.
That's valid.
But I actually think it's a good pop song. It's kind of haunting. I kind of like the kind of monotone, kind of repeated melody.
Yeah.
Like I think her execution is good in it. Like there's like just enough emotion in it. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's effective. So yeah, but no, it's just interesting. What do you think of the video and like the kind of ballroom kind of feel for it?
I enjoy it because ballroom is a style I've always like really enjoyed. But as I mentioned before, her ability to emote is very, very good. So I think even not just vocally, her face translates emotion very well too. Like if she's sad, you see it in her eyebrows. Her eyebrows are very expressive. Her face just has a lot of I feel written all over it. Like there's passion when Derek's like tossing her and picking her up. She has that, you know the look that the ballroom dancers give each other, like the smolder. She does that well. She does longing well. Like the video was so good. I think at the time, ballroom, tango, the whole scene was very popular because of Dancing with the Stars. I know Strictly Come Dancing was the UK version. I'm not sure how big it was in the UK, but here in America, it was like, oh my God. Like, you didn't have to be watched to be on that show. Now it's become that kind of thing, which really sucks, because I would love to be on Dancing with the Stars one day. But I think it was a good idea to do. Derek was like the hottest thing since sliced bread. I mean, he even did like that movie with Boa at the time. So he was like pretty hot to do things with, right? So I think it's a good look. The chemistry is there. The song kind of fits that, again, military style without being like drums. It was just more like, not militant, but it has a drum focus.
Yeah,
It's
there's
more
like a
drum
march
heavy.
to it.
Yeah, exactly, a march to it. So I appreciate it. And I think, again, with all that was going on with her marriage, the album and this song definitely served as an answer to the hater and the gossip and like a diary into her mentality and also her fortitude, passion, and intention as an artist, as a wife, as like a freaking human being. Like, I think overall, the whole thing was just really good. And just the color scheme of everything just fits with the passion and the risk taking of falling without a parachute or with one, excuse me. So I liked all of it. Just not that chorus.
Interesting.
That chorus.
Yeah. Okay, well, moving on to the next era. Time for a recess break. Stay tuned for part 2 where we discuss the messy little raindrops and A Million Lights eras, plus that mess that was the X Factor US. See you there.